All right, all right. So it looks like people are tuning in. Shout out to my man Bruce, who's going to MEPS Thursday and Friday. If you're going Thursday and Friday, it sounds like you're going to be doing your ASVAB, and it sounds like you might be doing your physical on Friday, maybe even enlisting. So if that's the case, congratulations to you. Definitely do your best on the ASVAB for sure. If you've already taken the ASVAB, then great job. If you're just there to fizz, whatever the reason that you're going to MEPS, congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's a big step. How can you increase your word knowledge score? That is a great question. So if you watch my previous videos, I normally tell y'all word knowledge might be the least effective section on the ASVAB to study. Okay. On the word knowledge section, there's really no guarantee. You can study half the dictionary, but there's no guarantee that in studying the word knowledge section that the words that you studied in the dictionary is going to pop up on your test. So in my opinion, studying for the word knowledge is not really beneficial. However, if you want to increase your score, maybe learning about root words might be the best way to help you increase in that section. All right. A root word is basically, if you're looking at a big word, it's the smaller word. How do I describe this? It might have a Latin origin, right? That has a meaning that you can kind of work your way through the rest of the word, okay? But just based on that definition alone, word knowledge is not the way to go, my friend. I recommend studying math instead. All right, here we go. We are going to be diving into these mental warm-ups. We are diving into these mental warm-ups. 5 times 8. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and comment in the chat what the answer is. 5 times 8. I'm all about participation, okay? So if you're here to study, right, which I'm assuming all of you guys are, if you are here to study, then actually participate to the best of your abilities with these questions, all right? I'll start off slow before we start picking it up. But 5 times 8, I got 40. I hope y'all got 40 also. Okay. 8 times 11. I normally say anything times 11 as it pertains to numbers 1 through 9, right? All you're going to do is double the number, right? So how we have 8 times 11, it's actually going to be 88. All right. 88. So 11 times 7, 77. 11 times 6, 66. 11 times 5, 55. So on and so forth. Okay. 11 times 1 is 11. So that's just a little tip. Y'all keep that in your back pocket. All right. 88. If you're joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. 6 times 9, what y'all got? I know a lot of people struggle on their 9 times tables. For whatever reason, y'all hate your 9 times tables. So let's see what we got. 6 times 9, the options are 64, 56, 57, and 54. 6 times 9. Bruce, I'm agreeing with you, my friend. I got 54 also. Boom. 7 times 5. Let's go ahead and start picking up the pace a little bit. 7 times 5. I think a lot of people are confident with their 5 times tables from what I see, right? So 7 times 5, we know is 35. With your 5 times tables, the numbers are either going to end in 0 or it's going to end in 5. All right. So for example, you see this fake answer here, 33. We know that that can't be right because 5 times tables, the answer will always end in 0 or 5, no matter how big the number. This fake answer 34, see how this ends in a 4? We know that that can't be right either. So the correct answer will either be 35 or 45. All right. In this case, it's 35. Boom. Boom. 3 times 2, we know that's 6. 4 times 1, anything times 1 is itself. So we're going to go with 4. This is a good one. I think a lot of y'all are not too great with your 12 times tables either. Right? So 12 times 3. What y'all got? 12 times 3. Remember, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so I can let you know. Welcome to the family. Every now and again on this channel, we do ASVAB study sessions, which is live. All right. The reason that I'm going live is to give you guys opportunities to ask any questions that you might have, especially if you're going to MEPS in the near future. 3 times 12, 36. Let's start picking it up. 2 times 1, 2. 10 times 3, I got 30. What y'all got? Of course. 12 times 12. This is a good one. Comment in the comment section what y'all got on this one. Remember, y'all be kind of shaky with your 12 times tables. 12 times 12. I will actually recommend to you guys, right, buying flashcards. If you're not strong with math, buy some flashcards that go up to your 12 times tables. Chester, I'm agreeing with you. Shout out to Chester. 144. All right, I'm gonna go with it. 144. I hope you're right. Boom, that's what I'm talking about. Love the confidence. 9 times 1. Anything times 1 is itself. 10 times 4. Whenever you're multiplying by 10, you just add a 0 to whatever number it is that you're multiplying. So 4 add a 0 gives us 40. Mind you, anytime that you're multiplying by 10, your answer will always end in a 0. All right, so this 43, we know that it's wrong. This 36, we know that it's trash. It's either 40 or 50. And in this case, we got 40. Boom, 5 times 5. Remember I said anything times 5, the answer is either going to end in 5 or 0. Right? 25. 5 times 5 is 25. Boom. 10 times 1 is 10. All right, for the next 2 minutes, we're going to be going speed mode. All right, your brain should start waking up at this point. Okay, the reason that I'm doing this before we jump into any big math problems is it's good to associate numbers in your head. All right, so it's good to kind of wake your brain up. All right, I know it's bedtime for some people, but if you're participating in this live session, it's good to kind of wake your brain up when it comes to dealing with these numbers. So 6 times 6, 36. Boom. Oh, another 12 one. 8 times 12. Is it 96? Is it 106? Is it 93 or is it 100? Eight times 12, I got 96. What y'all got? 2 times 7. Y'all forgive me, right? But let me change this music. 2 times 7, I got 14. 12 times 5. Oh, this is a good one. All right, I'm about to do another like 15 questions or so. So y'all do your best. All right, let's try to stay together. 12 times 5, 60. Boom. 8 times 3, I got 24. What y'all got? Boom. Oh, this is a good one. 6 times 7. This is a good one. This is a good one. Is it 52? Is it 42? Is it 41? What y'all got? I got 42. Boom. 12 times 1. Anything times 1, we know it's 12. 2 times 6. 6 plus 6 is what? 12, right? Boom. 7 times 4. This is a good one. Y'all got 25. Y'all got 28. What y'all got? 7 times 4. I'm going 28. 5 times 1. 5. 11 times 6. Remember, anything times 11 is what? You just double the number, right? So 66. This is going to be y'all's $1 million question right here. What is 12 times 11? And I hope y'all ain't cheating using your calculators. Go ahead and comment. I'm going to actually wait for y'all on this question. 12 times 11. Is it 142? Is it 134? Is it 135? Or is it 132? 132, 142, 135, 140, 134. What y'all got? Okay. All right. Y'all look like you in agreement. 132. Y'all telling me to click on 132. All right. Roger that. Let me go ahead and click on 132. And then as we know, 4 times 2 is 8. So let me go ahead and switch over to fractions. All right. By now, everybody should be subscribed. By now, everybody should be, they should have your paper, your pencil. I would recommend even getting a calculator, keeping it close by because we might need it in today's study session. So if I haven't told you already, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we are going to be doing a study session that is tailor-made around fractions. All right, fractions. So the first thing that we're going to be going over is what is a fraction in the first place. Okay, what is a fraction? We know that a fraction looks like this. It's a number over another number. All right. The reason that I kind of like these live sessions is I can explain to you guys a little bit more in depth than I can in a normal video. Okay, so just to kind of give us a brief overview on what fractions are, right? A fraction is essentially a numeric value that is not a whole number. So in my video, I described to you guys what a whole number is. A whole number is 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Those are whole numbers. So a fraction is a number that's in between 0 and 1. All right. So in this case, we have 1 over 2. All right. That basically is saying out of every 2, which is the denominator that we see here, 2 is the denominator. The denominator always represents how much is available. Okay. How much we're talking about in its entirety, how much is available. Okay, so out of every 2, let's say apples, out of every 2 apples, Simba Alexander eats 1 of them. Okay, so 2 represents how many we're talking about. 1, or the numerator, is represent of how much is being used. All right, so that's a fraction. Start thinking, whenever you see fractions, start thinking of a number in between, like 0 and 1, or 1 and 2, any number in between whole numbers. All right, so let's go into adding and subtracting fractions. How do we add and how do we subtract fractions? All right, and this takes us into today's study session. So adding and subtracting fractions. All right, the first thing that I want you all to start thinking of when we're dealing with adding and subtracting fractions is any time that you go to add or subtract a fraction, you need a common denominator. All right, looking at this fraction right now, we have 1 over 2 on this side, or 1/2, plus 1 over 4, or 1/4. Y'all spot check me in the comment section. Can y'all see my writing on the screen? Somebody let me know if you can see me writing on the screen, please. Okay, I can see it on my end, so I'm assuming that y'all can see it on your end also, right? So we have 1 over 2 on the left plus 1 over 4. Step 1 is you need a common denominator, meaning that this 2 and this 4 has to be the same number. Okay, you need a common denominator, so we have to have the same number on the bottom, or we have to have the same denominator, common denominator. I want everybody to be following along. Okay, the 2 and the 4 have to match. If they don't match, it's like comparing apples to oranges. You just can't add apples to oranges because they're not the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead. What can we do? What can we do to get a common denominator in an equation like this? All right, in order to make this 2 a 4, what we have to do is multiply this denominator by 2. Isn't that correct? If we do multiply this denominator by 2, whatever we do to the bottom, we also have to do to the top. All right? And the reason that I say we have to multiply by 2 is because we know that 2 goes into both 2, and 4. All right, so 4 can be our denominator. We're using 4 as our denominator. All right, in order for us to add this fraction, we have to use 4 as our denominator. Now, we multiplied 2 times 2 in order to get our denominator of 4, right? So we also have to do the same to the top. 2 times 1 is 2. And we didn't do anything to this fraction on the right, so it stays the same. So now we have 2 over 4 plus 1 over 4. Right? Because we have the same denominator at this point, we can just add our numerators going across. So 2 plus 1 equals 3, and the denominator stays the same. 3 over 4. Okay? Step 4 is simplify the fraction. So anytime that we get our answer, we're going to see if we can simplify this fraction right here. And in this case, we cannot. All right, so we're going to go to our answer key. A would be the correct answer. Does everybody understand? Is everybody tracking? Is everybody tracking? All right, so let's see. Did everybody get the same answer? Because it looks like we might be not on the same page right now. I'm trying to see. Some people chose B, 1/3. All right, if nobody has any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen so that way we can dive into the next problem. All right, if you didn't get this one right, no problem. All right, as long as you're participating, that's all that counts. That's all that matters. Okay. Reason being is the more that we do this is the more that you're going to get a hang of the steps on how to solve these problems. All right, so question number 2. Five over 8 plus 1 over 4. Let me go ahead and rewrite this. 5 over 8 it's a sloppy behind 8 right there, plus 1 over 4. All right, so what is step 1? What did I say in the last problem that we needed to do? Right, we need to find a common denominator. What number can we use that both 4 and 8 go into? What number does both 4 and 8 go into? If y'all don't understand common denominators, then adding and subtracting fractions will be impossible to you. All right, so I want to make sure that we all understand. What number does both 4 and 8 go into? So I'm going to be honest, okay? I see a lot of people saying 2. 2 would not be... 2 does go into 4 and 8. All right, so before I say that you're wrong, let me say that you're right. Okay, 2 does go into both of these numbers. But when I say common denominator, right, basically, when I say common denominator, I need y'all to think along the lines of what number can we use, right? For example, we have to change the smallest of these two numbers into a number that both of these numbers go into. Okay, so for example, let me give you guys the answer. In this problem, 8 would be a common denominator because we can change this 4 into 8 by multiplying it by 2. If we multiply this 4 by 2, it would give us 8. And if we have 8 as the denominator of this fraction, then it matches the other fraction. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? Again, before we start becoming really speedy with these fractions, right, we have to understand common denominator. Okay? So yes, 2 does go into both 8 and 4 if we were trying to simplify, right? However, we're not trying to simplify. In this case, we're actually trying to, we would have to multiply by 2, okay, rather than simplifying it down to 2, okay? So the first thing, let me give you guys another pointer. The first thing that I do when trying to find a common denominator is I look at the smallest number. So like I said, in this case, it's this 4 right here. And I ask myself, what can I do in order to change this 4 into a number that matches the other fraction? In this case, it works well because 4 times 2 is 8 itself. So we know that 8 is our common denominator, right? So we're going to put 8 on that side. We're going to put 8 on this side. And what we did is we multiplied this 4 times 2, right? So whatever we do to the bottom, we also have to do to the top. Am I making sense? Y'all tracking? We didn't do anything to this fraction right here because 8 was already the denominator. So this 5 stays the same. Okay? And then we know that 1 times 2 is 2. And now we can add going straight across. 5 plus 2 is 7, and the denominator stays the same. Our last step is simplify the fraction. Can we simplify this fraction anymore? The answer to that is no, we can't. This is already simplified. So 7 over 8 would be our answer. I need y'all to do me a favor in the comment section down below. Are you guys understanding common denominator? I don't want it. This study session will be completely useless if I move forward without us not understanding common denominator. Is it thumbs up, thumbs down, you know, in the middle? Like, where do you guys feel as it pertains to this common denominator? Okay, 5 over 8 plus 1 over 4 equals 7 over 8. Don't worry, we are going to be doing more addition and subtraction, but y'all gotta kind of let me know, you know, all right, Simba, this is easy, speed it up, or slow it down, my man, I'm not quite understanding, okay? So let me go ahead and clear this screen. We are going to be diving into the next question. The reason that I wanted to make you guys a fraction video, right, is because, believe it or not, when you take the ASVAB test, you are going to see fractions. It's hard to tell you, okay? There it is. That was for free. You're going to see fractions, okay? You're going to have to know how to finagle your way in and out of fractions. Simplifying fractions, adding, multiplying. You might even have to divide fractions. You know, it might be in the arithmetic reasoning section. You might have to change a percentage to a fraction and then vice versa. So just know that you're going to be dealing with fractions, okay? To some degree. All right, here we go. 3 over 8. I want to try to give you guys the tools that you need to be successful. All right, especially to the homie that's going to MEPS Thursday and Friday. All right, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. All right, 3 over 8 plus 1 over 2. Step 1, ladies and gentlemen, we need what? Step 1, before we even think about doing anything else, we need what? A common denominator. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys what the common denominator is. I want to see, what would you guys choose to be a common denominator between 8 and 2? Mr. Gucci asked the question, is it okay to not study every day? Yes, actually, it is okay to not study every day, right? Studying shouldn't be torture. All right. Studying should be actually, it's kind of like eating. You're not going to necessarily eat every second of the day and keep stuffing yourself with food, right? You want to study enough to where you can think and meditate on what you just studied, right? Your study session shouldn't be 4, 5, 7 hours long per se. I like to keep study sessions short. Keep it short, like a 30-minute study session on something specific, okay? On something specific. So that way, when you finish that study session, at least you know a little bit more on, let's say, adding fractions, rather than trying to study, a whole geometry book or something like that, algebra book. All right. So the common denominator for this, what can we change this 2 into? What can we multiply this 2 by in order for this fraction, this equation, to have a common denominator? Is it not true that if we multiply this 2 by 4, it will give us 8? And if we have 8, then that can be used as our common denominator? I think yes, right? So whatever we do, so we know that the common denominator in this case is going to be 8. Whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do to the numerator, right? So we multiply by 4 on the bottom, meaning we have to multiply by 4 on the numerator as well, on the top as well, right? So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So we have 3 over 8. Because we didn't do anything to change that equation. 8 was already our denominator. Plus, what did I say? 8 is our common denominator, right? So we have 8 on the bottom. 2 times 4 is 8 on the bottom. And then 1 times 4 is 4 on the top. All right. Now we're adding, going across. 3 plus 4 gives us 7. I see some of y'all are even ahead of the game, letting me know what the answer is in the answer key. That's what I'm talking about. That means that we're understanding. All right, we have 7 over 8 as our answer. 7 over 8 as our answer. So if you answer D to this question, that means you're tracking. You're tracking, and that makes me happy. That makes me really glad. All right. So we found our common denominator. We did the same thing to the bottom and the top. We added our numerator, which is 3 plus 4 gives us 7. Denominator of 8 stays the same, and we cannot simplify this fraction any further. Okay, 7 over 8 would be the correct answer. All right, let me go ahead and clear this off the screen. So that way we can put on the screen the new question. So here's our first subtraction question. Let me give you guys like a minute or two to see what answer that you guys get. And that little cheat sheet that we had on the right hand side just disappeared also. So let me see if y'all remember the steps on how to solve a question like this. Let me give you a hint. The first thing that you need to find is a common denominator between 12 and 3. After the ASVAB, what do you do? After the ASVAB, my friend, then you will sit down with your recruiter. If you are qualified to proceed in the process, you will go ahead and do your physical at MEPS. That's where they check you from your head to your toe. Make sure that you're healthy. Make sure that you're not in any legal troubles. Make sure that you don't have, any type of abnormal medical issues. Once you pass the physical, then you sit down with a guidance counselor in whatever branch of the military you're trying to join, and you swear in, you sign your contract. Hopefully you receive a bonus, and so on and so forth. All right, I see my man Rick is ahead of the game, all right? So when I asked about common denominator, Rick says 12 would be the common denominator. Do y'all agree? 12 would be the common denominator. So how did we get 12? How did Rick get 12 as a common denominator? Let me see. Maybe he looked at this 3 over here on this side and was like, you know what? If I multiply 3 times 4, that would give me 12 as a common denominator. If that was your thought process, Rick, let me tell you, my friend, you are a genius. All right. Whatever he did to the bottom, he would also have to do to the top. Right. So we also have to multiply the top by 4. 9 would remain the numerator on this side. And then 3 times 4, we know, gave us 12 on the bottom. So then we have 1 times 4 gives us 4. So then what, ladies and gentlemen? Then what? Then what? Is it not true? Then we just have to subtract at this point. 9 minus 4 is what? 5. And our denominator stays the same. Yes or no in the comment section. Can we or can we not simplify this 5 over 12? Is this 5 over 12 in simplest form? Can we simplify this fraction, 5 over 12? My answer to this would be no. You cannot simplify 5 over 12. It's already in simplest form, so we can just go over to this answer key. If you answer D as your answer, my friend, congratulations. You are on your way to scoring a 50 and above on the ASVAB. Great job. 5 over 12. It looks like everybody seems to be more or less on the same page. Right? So let's go ahead and jump into the next question. All right, it looks like we can even start speeding this up a little bit because y'all are tracking. Uh-oh, here we go. 2 over 3 or 2/3 minus 9 over 15. 2 over 3 minus 9 over 15. And just so y'all know, this is not just the ASVAB study session, okay? Yes, it's good to use for the ASVAB, but math is math, all right? So if you have a PyCat practice ASVAB, obviously you can use it for that as well. If you have a GED core, if you're in a GED course, right, and you have GED exams, this information is going to be useful for you taking your GED exams as well, okay? If you got SATs, ACTs coming up for school, this will help you with that as well, okay? So don't just think limited that this will only help you on the ASVAB. Take this information and go past, you know, your GED courses and, you know, your SATs and ACTs and things like that also, right? So what is the common denominator for this equation? Common denominator, what y'all got? Would 6 be a common denominator? Is it 6? Is it 9? What about 12? Is it 12? Is it 15? What would the common denominator for this question be? All right, looking at this automatically, like I said, right? What goes through my mind is, what can I do to this 3? Can I make this 3 match this 15 over on this side? And if so, what do I have to do in order to make it do so? Okay, so that's my first thought. The answer is yes, I can make it match. Right? What I would have to do is multiply this 3 times 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I also have to do to the top. And I can use 15 as my common denominator. Boom. 5 times 3 is 15. So 5 times 2, we already know that's 10. And then this 9 stays the same. Did y'all already put your answers in the answer key? Somebody said the answer is B. I'm starting not even to know which question y'all are referring to. All right. So 10 minus 9 is 1. Denominator of 15 stays the same. This is obviously simplified as far as it can simplify. Go to our answer key. If you answered B, great job. Give yourself a pat on the back. If you answered A, C, or D, look at the question real quick and try to figure out what you did in order to end up way left field, okay? See if you can find the error that you made and try to retrace your steps back in the problem, okay? The ASVAB isn't just for people who know what the right answer is per se, okay? What's greater than knowing the right answer is knowing what you did in order to get that answer in the first place. All right? Because then if you make a mistake, you can always retrace your steps and solve it once again. All right, here we go. Three over 8. Oh, this is actually a good one. This is, let me not get ahead of myself. So we have 3 over 8 minus 1 over 3. In this question right here, if you can tell me what the common denominator is, that means that you're understanding common denominator. Go ahead and let me know what the common denominator is between 3 over 8 and 1 over 3. All right. The reason that I say this is a good question, right, is in the other problems, we asked ourselves, what can we do to this 3 in order to make it 8? But in this case, there's nothing that you can do, right? 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So we can't, at no point in time can we use a whole number to multiply this 3 by in order to get 8. Right? So we cannot use 6. Okay? So then what do we do? What can we do? How can we get these denominators to be the same denominator? All right. In a case where you can't multiply this 3 by a whole number in order to match the denominator on the other side, right? Like how we've been doing. We can't multiply this 3 by 2. We can't multiply this 3 by 3 in order to get 8, right? So in a case, what you can do next, right, is you're going to go over to the bigger number. This is just this is how I think when I'm doing math, okay? You're going to go over to the bigger number and you're going to start multiplying up the times tables in your head. 8 times 1 is 8. We know that we can't use 8 as a common denominator. 8 times 2 is 16. Can 3 also turn into 16? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Can 3 become 16? 3 times something, does 3 times anything equal 16? Can we use 16 as a common denominator? Boom, I agree. The answer is no, right? 3 times multiply 3 into 16. All right, so we need to keep going. 8 times 3 then equals 24. I'm going to ask you sarcastically, right, if we can multiply 3 times anything to give us 24. The answer to that is obviously yes. It would be 8. 8 times 3 equals 24. So we know that our common denominator is going to be 24. Is everybody understanding how we got 24 as our common denominator? What did we do on this side? We multiplied this 8 by 3. So that means we also have to multiply the numerator by 3. And what did we do on this side? We multiplied this 3 times 8. So we also have to multiply the numerator times 8 also. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the math. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8, 24. Minus 8 times 1 is 8. 3 times 8, 24. Boom. Now, 9 times 8 is 1. Our denominator of 24 stays the same. We cannot simplify this anymore. 1 over 24. We go to our answer key. If you answered B, give yourself a pat on the back. If you're watching this video right now and you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button so I can let you know, welcome to the family. All right, hit that subscribe button. It's free. And you're like 30-40 minutes into this study session, meaning that you're finding some sort of value from this content. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so I can welcome you to the family and give you a big congratulations when you pass the ASVAB. 1 over 24. B is the correct answer. Is that what y'all got? All right, that one was a little bit more tricky, okay? Let me give you guys another tip. When you can't find a common denominator, like you can't think of anything as a common denominator between two numbers, the quickest way to find a common denominator without going through the whole times tables is just multiplying these two numbers by each other. If you multiply these two numbers by each other, you'll always have a common denominator. Okay? So that's just a little tip. Now, you might have to simplify. If you just jump into a question and multiply those two numbers by each other, you might have to simplify. There might be a lower number that you can use. However, if you just need a common denominator because you can't necessarily eyeball it, just multiply the two denominators by each other. You'll get a common denominator every time. All right. Y'all want to keep going? Let's do a couple more. Let's do this one here. 7 over 16 plus 1 over 3. A great question. Would there be any negative fractions? Yes, actually, there might be negative fractions. We could do it right now. We can make this a negative fraction right now. We'll do it after we solve it normally, actually. That's a good question. So yes, prepare yourself for knowing how to multiply negative fractions, positive fractions, you know, a mix of both fractions, so on and so forth. Y'all go ahead. Common denominator. What is the common denominator between these numbers here? What number does 16 and 3 both go into? All right. So does 3, first question, does 3 go into 16? The answer to that is no, right? 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 times 6 is 18, okay? So it does not go into 16 evenly. So, all right, we can already scratch that out of our heads, okay? So let's go ahead and go to this bigger number. You could do this one of two ways. Automatically, you could just go ahead and, like I said, multiply these two numbers by each other, which sometimes I do recommend, okay? In this case, let's go ahead and do that. because that's going to be how we find our common denominator anyways. 16 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry our 1. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. Giving us 48 as our common denominator. Are we tracking? 48. What did we do to this 16? We multiplied this 16 by 3, so we have to multiply that 7 also by 3. And on this side, we multiplied this 3 by 16. We also have to multiply this 1 by 16. Are we all on the same page on how we got to this point so far? All right. 3 times 7 is 21. 1 times 16 is 16. Boom. Now we can add. What is 21 plus 16? This is a good question. What is 21 plus 16? If you can't do it in your head, just do it diagonally with me over here. I don't know why I'm writing so crooked, right? 1 plus 6 is 7. 2 plus 1 is 3. We got 37 over 48. 37 over 48. I see in the answer key D is a possible choice. Y'all go ahead and comment, can we simplify 37 over 48 any further? Is there any number that goes into both 37 and 48? This is why it's good to do multiplication warm-ups before you dive into math, okay? Just looking at this 37, I already know based off of the times tables that we were just doing before this video started that there's no number that goes into 37. 36, we might have something going on. 12, 3, right? 37, prime number. Only 1 and 37 goes into 37, okay? So there's no way we can simplify this any further. All right? Number association. By the time you even see a number, you should know, there's nothing that I can think of that goes into 37. You know what I mean? If it was 32, you might have had something. 8, 4, you might have had something for 32. But 37, there's no number that goes into 37, right? So D, if you answer D, great job to you. Great job to you, great job to you, great job to you. Let me go ahead and skip down to one of these questions here, right? Because I think at this point, everybody is understanding how to add and subtract fractions. So let's go ahead and let's jump down to this question. We threw in a extra fraction, okay? But don't panic. The process is still the same. Step 1, you're going to need a common denominator. What number does 2, 4, and 3 all fit into evenly? What number does 2, 4, and 3 fit into evenly? If you was to face something like this on a GED exam or the ASVAB, you can break this down in two ways. You can keep solving this, 2 fractions at a time, right? And just solve these 2, and then when you get the answer to that, go ahead and include this one over here. You can do it that way if you want, but let's challenge ourselves and find the common denominator between these 3 fractions. All right, can we use 4 as a common denominator? Can we use 4? Does 2 go into 4? Yes. Does 4 go into 4? Yes. Does 3 go into 4? No. So we cannot use 4 as our common denominator. Can we use 8 or 9 as our common denominator? Does 2 go into 8? Yes, it does. Does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. Does 3 go into 8? No, it does not. So we cannot use 8 as our common denominator either. Let me see. What else we got? 9, right? Does 3 go into 9? Yes. Does 4 go into 9? No. Okay. I'm seeing y'all comment in the comment section 12. What about 12? Let's see. Does 2 go into 12? Yes, it does. If we multiply by 6. Okay. What about 4? Does 4 go into 12? Yes, it does. If we multiply by 3. Well, what about 3? Does 3 go into 12? Yes, it does. If we multiply by 4. Okay, so we have learned that we can use 12 as our common denominator. Whoever commented 12 in the comment section, great job. Right? So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Right? We multiply by 4, then we multiply by 3, and on this side we multiply by 6. 6 times 1 is 6, and then it's all downhill from here. 3 times 3 is 9. Sloppy 9. 4 times 1 is 4. Is everybody understanding how we made it here so far? If you are understanding, then great. Let's just add and subtract going across. So 6 plus 9 is 15. I'm just going to put a little 15 up here. 15 minus 4 is what? 11, right? And our denominator of 12 stays the same. (11 over 12). 11 over 12 cannot be simplified any further, so C would be our correct answer. C would be our correct answer. Y'all go ahead and keep it real with me. Give me a thumbs up if this is making sense to you. Give me a thumbs up if now you feel pretty confident about adding and subtracting fractions. Okay? If not, it's okay. All right? If we've done all of these questions and you're still unsure, it's not, don't panic. Okay? Because I've already posted a video that will help you. On this live replay, you know, don't sweat it too much. Actually, my latest upload is all of these questions, like I said. So if you need to watch that video 1,000 times, watch it 1,000 times until you understand. All right? If you are understanding, go ahead and hit me with a thumbs up. Boom. C would be the correct answer. I'm going to do one more adding and subtracting fractions question. Y'all let me know what the answer is. A, B, C, or D. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a 2-minute head start. But in 2 minutes, y'all should be able to solve this question. Okay, because y'all are efficient, man. Y'all are high speed. Is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? And give you guys another minute or so. Kadosh, Kadosh. All right. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? Are y'all still trying to figure out the common denominator? All right, let me go ahead and jump in here, all right? Because y'all having all the fun, all right? Let me go ahead and jump in here also. Let's see what we got. 1 over 4 minus 3 over 16 plus 3 over 4. Ooh, they trying to get fancy on us. All right. All right, here we go. All right, I see some people saying C. I see some people saying D. Some saying C, some saying D. All right, let's see what we got. All right. So first and foremost, what did y'all get as a common denominator? Did we at least agree on what the common denominator is for this question? Did y'all use 4 as a common denominator? Did you use 12? Did you use 16? Did you use 32? What did y'all use? 24? All right. Just by looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, I would use 16. All right. 16 would be the quickest way to get a common denominator. All right. If you used a bigger number than 16, for example, if you used 32 as a common denominator, you would be also correct. However, in the end, you would have to simplify your fraction. Okay? But if you used 16, because you've seen right away that 4 times 4 is 16, and on this side, 4 times 4 is 16, you would be a step ahead of the game. All right? So this 16, 3 over 16 would stay the same. 4 times 4 is what we did on the bottom, so we have to multiply by 4 on the top to both of these. 4 times 4, so we have to multiply the top by 4 as well, giving us 16, giving us 16. All right, 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Hopefully this is what everybody came to so far. All right, so 4 times 1. I'm sorry, where did I get 4 times 1? 4 minus 3 equals 1. Right, so 4 minus 3 on this side equals 1. 1 plus 12 is 13. We're going to use 16 as a common denominator. Can we simplify 13 over 16 anymore? No, we cannot. 13 over 16. D would be the correct answer. D would be the correct answer. All right, so let me explain to you guys what I was talking about when I said, let's say you multiplied this 16 times 2, giving you a 32. Right, and then you multiplied the top by 2 as well. And then you looked at the 4 and you were like, you know what, 4 times 8 would also give me 32. So you multiplied this by 8. You multiplied this by 8. And you use 32. Oh, let me make this a 3. And you use 32 as your denominator. 8 times 1 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 8. What is 3 times 8? 24, right? We would have done our math the same. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2 plus 24 is 26 over 32. This would have been your answer, right? 26 over 32. But in looking at this, can we simplify 26 over 32? 26 over 32. Can it be simplified? Yes, 2 goes into both of these numbers, right? So if we divide the top here by 2, and if we divide the bottom by 2, 26 divided by 2 gives us 13. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So we would have had to simplify in order to get the same answer, 13 over 16. So if you use 32 as your common denominator, you are actually correct. You're not wrong. Don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong. You're not wrong. If that is what was easiest for you to do, then great. However, just remember that you're going to have to simplify at the end. You're going to have to simplify at the end. All right. I think that we have had our fair share of adding and subtracting fractions for the night. I want to let you know, if you stayed to the end of this study session, go ahead and comment in the comment section. I can do all things. All right. Just so that way I know that you guys stuck it out to the end. You invested in yourself. You stayed at, even at 10 o'clock Eastern, doing another successful study session on fractions. Maybe tomorrow or the day after, I might do how to multiply and divide fractions live session, right? Just so that way y'all can continue to participate, especially those of you who are going to MEPS here soon, okay? So be sure you hit that subscribe button, all right? It's been a pleasure doing another study session with you guys, all right? Share this video with your recruiters, with your friends who are also going to MEPS, or anybody else you know that is also trying to pass the ASVAB, all right? So that way it can be beneficial to each and every person watching, all right? Thank you guys for tuning in. Always remember that success is made by actions. So get up, go grind. I'll see you next time.